Good day. If you're new to the channel, I would like to invite you to leave a like. If you happen to enjoy the show today, I would like you to subscribe and hit the bell notification. I normally have these shows on Sundays, but yesterday I wasn't feeling so well. Be honest with you, I'm still not feeling so well. My sinuses are kicking my butt right now, but I'm trying to push through it. As the heading says, today's topic going to be do you need expensive tools to do woodworking? No. End of the show. I I mean, a lot of the stuff I show on the channel, I try to show a mix of stuff, but I don't want to give anybody the idea that's trying to get into woodworking that you have to have a particular, brand or price of tool. There's many ways to do things in woodworking, and there are tools that are available for all price levels. Even the stuff that we beat up on sometimes, the inexpensive stuff, you could make them work half decently, especially for beginners. Somebody's trying to figure out if this is something that they really want to do long term. You can buy the stuff at the big box store. There's Harbor Freight. So basically, I don't want to give anybody the idea that if it's not, Festool or some high end product, you can't do woodworking. I, I was involved in this in some shape or some form way before I had any of the products that you see in the background. I was producing pocket holes when I didn't even know what a pocket hole was. I used to drill a pilot hole where I started perpendicular to the work surface, and as I went in, I started getting steeper with the angle, and then stop before it came out and put a screw in it. That was my pocket hole. It worked. I built bookcases, patent grade bookcases that way. So let me see if there's anybody in the chat right now. There it is. No one is coming yet. Okay, it's just me. I'm talking. Oh, 3 people are here. Good evening. Also, I want to hit on the fact that, Festool just had an event. And if you have $1 million burning a hole in your pocket, there's some interesting stuff that they have coming out. And by the way, these shows are interactive. I don't like talking to myself. If you have a question, you have an input, please use the chat. I like to interact with you guys. But once again, if you have $1 million burning a hole in your pocket, or some sibling that you don't need, an arm or possibly a leg, they have some interesting stuff coming out. I was looking at that one compact table saw, job site table saw, and I went on the international site to try to figure out the price for it. And if you do the conversion, yep, it's officially the world most expensive job site saw at approximately $2,700 when it hits over here in the U.S. So look out for that. But once again, do you need that? No, you don't. The the one made by the popular manufacturers that we all see at the big box store, they work, and you can calibrate them, and you can get a lot of use out of them. And if this hasn't come to your attention yet, because I'll be honest with you, it took some time for it to come to um, to my awareness. I used to think when I was looking at a table saw, I used to think the biggest capacity was going to be the better purchase. So when I initially bought my table saw, I got one with very long rails. And come to find out, 99.99999% of the time, all I really do on that table saw is rip. So you don't need all that capacity. So you'll be surprised. Just using a job site saw, and if you have a good method of cross cutting, let it be with a festool with some type of right angle jig, or you can do like I did originally. I made my own jig. Um, it wasn't original to me. I got the idea from somebody where you basically use a straight piece of, let it be plywood or even MDF or particle board or something like that. Something to have a nice clean straight edge, and you put it on top of a piece of melamine, a little bit bigger than your saw, and you run your saw against the fence of it, and it cuts a sight line for you, kind of like cutting the strip on a festool, so you can line up your marks and make cuts. And if you're careful and you take your time, and you stay against the fence, the straight edge, you make a good, nice, clean cut on the side that you keep, the side that the melamine is on. The other side is going to chip. And if you want to avoid that chipping, there are other little things you can do too, like use painter's tape. So there's ways you can get around um, with more inexpensive tools. It just take more time. And for most of us out here doing this, we're DIY. So there's no rush. It's not like you're doing it for a business. You have a timeline for something. When a lot of this more expensive stuff I get, it just helps me to do the job more consistently and quicker. When you have a client, they ain't have all day and all year, or I mean, even with the tools, I still can be a little bit slow. But the point is, when you're doing more production type work, you need the convenience of tools that give you more repeatability. Thus, you pay a premium price for the more expensive tools. But if you're a homeowner, there are ways you can do a mortise, a tenant. You don't necessarily have to have a domino or any other fancy type of jig. All of those things are achievable with inexpensive tools. Another Festool product that I saw this week that I was interested in is the new track saw. I see they're coming out with a new track saw where it has a scoring blade like the European sliding saws. I thought that was neat. I'm curious to how much it's gonna cost. But it appears to have two motors, one for the scoring blade and one for the main blade. A lot of shy people out here today. Anybody out there saw the announcement for the new Festool products? A lot of stuff came out. They have new drills. They have a Sawzall. Not interested. Once again, I think companies like Milwaukee and DeWalt is the king of those categories. The problem with Festool, I think I mentioned this before, they don't have a large enough selection for me to come for me to commit to their battery platform. So with the DeWalt or the Milwaukee 18-volt, I have so many different tools that I could take advantage of. They be for construction, um, millwork. If you're into plumbing, HVAC, whatever, they have so many tools that Festool don't currently carry. I also noted that they have a new cordless vacuum coming out. I found that interesting as well. And the little live that they had, I noticed for you guys that watch it out there, they it was almost like a conference. They had a team of influencers. So, and I'm already starting to see stuff coming out on YouTube Shorts and so forth. So, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be convincing you to spend money. But I just want to give you all a heads up. If it makes sense to you and you can afford it and you want it, by all means, get it. But I don't want somebody that can't afford it and don't need it, but because of ignorance, they think that they can't do this stuff without that. That's the main thing I want to drive home. All this stuff is great, but most of it is not necessary. People was joining wood together before there was a domino. And there was cutting wood before there was a track saw or even a table saw. Nobody in the chat. Well, as I said, I'm fighting with my sinuses. If you guys want to add anything, let's go ahead. I'm really trying to make sure that I show up. I'm trying my best not to miss a week. So I wasn't able to do it yesterday, so I'm trying my best to do it today. Next week, I think I'm gonna talk a little bit more in depth on the Woodmaster molding machine, showing the innards and so forth. I don't think I ever really showed the innards in previous videos, so I'm gonna have a little bit of B-roll of me showing the innards and giving you an idea of how it works. Okay, I'll give it maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. If no one is responding, I'm gonna call it a show. This is the mic I normally use for doing basically narrations. And I'm sitting on a tall chair today. I'm not at the Festool table. Any questions? Any input? I can tell there's at least 3 of y'all. There's at least 3 people out there watching. Okay. Thanks for watching. And as usual, be safe in the shop.